Hello, all you coin aficionados out there, and welcome to the DC Coin World International Coin Channel. As you can see, what we have here for you today is the 1/12th Anna coin from the year 1936, and it's a coin from the nation of India. On the front of the coin, you can see there is a portrait of George V, King of England, and the lettering says George V, or 5 in Roman numerals, King, Emperor. So in 1936, there were 33 million of these coins made, 23 million made at the Calcutta Mint, and 13 million made at the Bombay Mint. How can you tell whether it's made at the Bombay or the Calcutta Mint? Well, if you turn the coin over again and look in the back, you can see under the year 1936 or whatever year you have. If it's made at the Bombay Mint, there will be a little dot underneath the 1936. In other words, right here there would be a little dot. There is no little dot underneath inside the beaded circle. It'd be right between a 9 and a 3, and it would be a little dot, and that would indicate the Bombay Mint. Because this does not have a little dot, this indicates that this is one from the Calcutta Mint. So 33 million were made from both mints. And a lot of people say, okay, what was the value then of the 1/12th Anna coin? Well, the 1/12th Anna coin was the equivalent of 1/192nd of a rupee. So in terms of international exchange, India used what was called the rupee, and then had coins which were portions or parts of that international exchange coin, or nowadays it might be a bill. So the 1 rupee was equal to 192 of these 1/12th Anna coins. So then you say, okay, what was the rupee worth in terms of US dollars? Well, in 1936, a rupee was worth 37.5 cents US. So 37.5 cents per rupee. So then you say, okay, let's do the numbers, and what was 1/192nd of a rupee? And it turns out that 1/192nd of a rupee was worth 0.2 cents. So this coin, the 1/12th Anna coin from 1936, was worth 0.2 cents US in 1936. Well, then that raises the next question, and that is, if it was worth 0.2 cents, could you buy anything with it? Well, in terms of looking at the cost of groceries and goods in India in the year 1936, you could buy at least 60 pounds of rice with a 1 rupee coin. So that means that this 1/12th Anna coin, you could probably buy about 5 ounces of rice. Probably enough to live that day, not enough to keep you from losing a heck of a lot of weight and maybe starving over time. But if you had a couple of these 1/12th Anna coins, you could get almost a pound of rice, and a pound of rice might keep you and possibly some other members of your family from starving that day. So you could buy things with this, even though it was only worth 2/10 of 1 US cent at the time. The coin is a bronze coin. It was minted from 1912 to 1936. Again, in 1936, King George V died. And so when you look at the front of the coin, you see that this says King George V on it with the 5. And after that, and this is a 1/2 Anna coin, George VI became king in 1936 after King George V died. So in 1936, King George V dies. India has a ton of these coins, which they mint. And the reason that this happens in the British Empire, or happened in the British Empire, was that it sometimes took as many as 2 years for the new coins to be minted once a new king took the throne, or queen took the throne. So in 1936, they said, oh, goodness, King Emperor George V has died. What we're going to do is we're going to put out as many of these coins as we can, because we don't know when we'll put out another one. It turns out that they did not put out another coin until 1939. In 1938, in 1937, there were no 1/12th Anna coins made. In 1938, there were some proof coins made, and there was not another coin put into circulation of the 1/12th Anna variety until 1939. So it took approximately 3 years. So it was a good thing that they printed out as many of these 1/12th Anna coins as they could in 36 after death of King George V, because otherwise there wouldn't have been enough of them on the market for people to use. So as you can see, the back has a center where it says 1/12th Anna, India, 1936. There's a beaded circle in the center, a pattern around the outside, and another beaded circle around the outside in front of the rim. And again, on the front, it says King George V, facing left. It says George V, King Emperor. Okay, thank you for coming to the DC Coin World channel. And we get questions consistently saying, okay, I got one of these, how much are they worth? This coin is worth not very much. Okay, in one sense, because 33 million were made. It was demonetized, of course, in 1954 as part of the changeover from the British Empire. Again, India became independent in 1947. It took them about 7 years to change over the currencies. And so in 1954, this coin was demonetized. So it's not worth anything in India in terms of India dollars. On the open market, if you wanted to buy one as a coin collector, it'd probably cost you between $2 and $3, including postage. So that's the value of it. It is a nice coin. It is a brass coin. It is 1.62 grams, and the diameter is 17.5 millimeters. Again, have a great day from the DC Coin World International Coin Channel.